Actually, we are starting, please make sure you don't touch this. We are starting, please go out. We are starting our series on petroleum microbiology. I'll give you, the first thing we want to talk about is carbon cycle. If you guys send them out a bit, so that next time you will say a business is coming to Are we? Are we here to play? Business. The first thing is carbon cycle. The second thing is genesis of fossil fuel. The first thing in petroleum microbiology we want to look at is carbon cycle. The second one is genesis of fossil fuel. The third one is microbial indicators in prospecting for oils. Microbial indicators in prospecting for oils. Oils. O-I-L-S. Number 4 is history of oil spillage worldwide and in Nigeria. History of oil spillage worldwide and in Nigeria. The next one is use of microorganisms in cleaning oil spillage. Use of microorganisms in cleaning oil spillage. Use of microorganisms in cleaning oil spillage. The next one is microbial biodegradation of petroleum products. Microbial biodegradation of petroleum products. The next one is practicals and field visits. Practicals and field visits. We try to see, we visit some places where there's oil pollution. Then test, then examination. So today we are looking at the carbon cycle and it's linked with petroleum microbiology. Carbon cycle and it's linked with petroleum microbiology. So what you have on the board is the carbon cycle. There's free carbon dioxide in the environment or in the atmosphere, which is in the atmosphere, and part of it we are exhaling. Then these free carbon dioxide are taken up by autotrophs perform chemosynthesis. So then they use the free carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. They have photosynthesis by autotrophs, mainly green plants, but also algae and bacteria. So they carry out photosynthesis. So the organic carbon in the autotrophs, whether it is through chemosynthesis or photosynthesis, goes into the becomes organic carbon compounds in the autotrophs. So we are talking about the plants and green algae and also green bacteria. Then, through the process called fossilization from the organic carbon compounds in the autotrophs, that is carbohydrates, fossilization, then we have coal, oil, natural gas. That is what fossilization leads to. Fossilization from organic carbon compounds in autotrophs, we now get coal, oil, and natural gas. Organic carbon compounds in autotrophs, in heterotrophs also, goes through fossilization to give us coal, oil, and natural gas. To give us coal, oil, and natural gas. So it's not just from the autotrophs, it's also from the heterotrophs. Now, these same organic carbon compounds in autotrophs, during respiration, because the autotrophs respire, so carbon dioxide is returned to the earth because we're taking oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide, whether they are a plant or they are animal. So this one, they are plants and green algae and green bacteria. So respiration, or not through respiration only, combustion. When these plants are burnt, we burn them most times. So when they dry, like now that charcoal is something now, everybody, oil fuel is expensive. Everybody is turning to charcoal. So when I first came back from where I traveled to, I saw my wife using firewood. So I said, what kind of thing is this one? I told the children to take everything outside, so we pack everything out. So I just went to feed gas. I just came back, but things will change. I feed the gas. So we use that one, finish. We use another one again, feed another one. salary and wetin you dey spend don different. To fuel sef, everything is expensive. So my wife wanted to cook beans. Now say let her buy charcoal. She didn't want to tell me that the gas are finished because she know that I will talk. I will say how this thing finish fast. Looking at the cost. So she bought small charcoal with 2 beans. Then later, don't use time say gas don't finish. You know, before she tell me that gas finish, she bought charcoal. So I cannot now see that she's wasting it. So later again, we bought small charcoal. Me too, I say, let's buy charcoal. This money that is just going to buy charcoal. So later, we just buy small charcoal. Later, I just want to buy bag. So you are on your second bag. You're on the second bag now. So that's combustion. So even though that's plants, they cut the trees and then they burn them. I see all over the campus too. They cut down trees. It's not just that they want to remove trees that are causing falling down. This is because it has economic value and there's demand. Initially, rain fell last year. Sometime last year, rain fell. So that one is understood. They called the people, they cleared some of the trees. But this year's own is different. It's economically inspired, motivated. You understand? Now there's high demand because of the cost of fuel. But also we are environmentalists, like myself now, I'm an environmentalist. You are saying that don't burn things. When the cost is high, you have to burn it. You have to burn it. You understand? There must be an economic value. You can't be telling me not to use something and then the alternative is on the high side. So who is going to go for the alternative? Just like we're at one conference, they're talking about the pesticide use of organic pesticides. Organic pesticides are more expensive than inorganic pesticides. Organic pesticides or herbicides are good, are environmentally friendly, but the inorganic ones are not environmentally friendly, but they are cheaper. The one that is not environmentally friendly is cheaper because when you spray and then it kills the weed or whatever, it's very cheap. But the one that when you spray, it will kill the weed and it will not harm the environment. It's more expensive. Now you now go to all those farmers and tell them that see, go and buy the organic one. They will not answer you. So how do you get access to them inside the bush where they are doing their farm? You understand? So why don't you make the organic one cheaper? If you make the organic one cheaper for the sake of the environment, so it's for the help of the government to now subsidize. When they produce the organic one, subsidize, they crash the price so that it will be cheaper than the inorganic one. The inorganic one is going to harm the environment. So make the one that is not going to harm the environment cheaper by subsidizing the price. So if it's worth selling for 1,000, government should pay 500 out of it so that they can sell it to the end users at 500. So that people now will now say, it's cheap now, they'll be buying it. So government is solving two problems. The environment is kept safe, and they're also making the farmers to have something at a cheaper rate. And now you didn't do anything about it. You are just doing research up and down, and you are saying that the inorganic one, you should not use it, but it's cheaper. I'm saying you should not use charcoal. It's there. We are environmental. So don't use charcoal. Don't use it's bad. But if you don't use charcoal, then what are you going to be doing? You're going to be taking bribe from the students before you can feed. And we don't want to do that. So you have to use charcoal, which everybody is using. So that is that about that. Talking about the organic carbon compounds, autotrophs. Now, during respiration, combustion. Decomposition by bacteria and fungi. So it goes back to the atmosphere as free carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Then we also have from here the organic carbon compound in this is consumed by heterotroph, like you consume the organic carbon autotrophs in the mango, in the what, in the whatever, bitter leaf, all of them, you consume them, the maize, the yam, you consume them there. You consume the heterotroph, both goat, cow, all of them, you consume them. The organic carbon compounds then comes into the body of the heterotrophs, and then when the heterotrophs respire, free carbon dioxide will return back to the environment. When there's decomposition by bacteria of the organic carbon compounds, when we die, we bury all the decomposition will take place. Or when plants die, you bury the plants. Or you don't bury the plant, but you can't eat the bone. Because the bone is actually what contains the carbon. So you throw the bone away. So decomposition also takes place. And then the free carbon dioxide is returned to the atmosphere. Then this coal, oil, natural gas, you see where we are interested in. Yeah, we are interested in the whole process, but the most one we are interested in is it comes here, from here, fossilization. Then we are interested also in here, consumer structure from here, fossilization. You can see coal, oil, and natural gas. This is what concerns us, and then we burn it. We burn it in any way you want to do, you have to burn it. And then produce, you give you energy. So we're talking about petrol, you burn it in your car or a generator. We're talking about diesel, you burn it also in your generator on your diesel engine. When we talk about gas, cooking gas, we burn it. We talk about other gases. We talk about gas flaring also. So all of them involves combustion, natural gas, oil, coal, also involves combustion. There's a story that is moving around in the US those days. They use coal, they use a DDT to take care of their environment. The DDT, some of this thing, I have to edit some of this thing. I can't make it, I'm really one line like that. So they use DDT to take care of their own environment, then they now ban it. They use it and they ban it, like coal. Use coal. If they are using coal, they will tell you that it's not good because the road they say it's not good. It's not good, it's not good. So I'm not saying all this so that you also are scientists. Don't just come at one day and now say use of firewood is bad. So what is then the alternative? You now become a minister or a commissioner or whatever, advisor to the governor, and then you start coming against all people using firewood. You go and be arresting all the women selling firewood. What kind of rubbish government are you going to be? You are arresting. Is that the solution to the problem? Right, so what is the alternative? So it's very expensive. And the one they are using again, you are going to ban them. Don't worry. By the time they start giving you a quick, you will know that this thing. After some time, they say things just continue happening the same way. I'm saying all this because somebody knows me close to those in power, and I wish and I hope you also get to power very soon, because we have some of our students there to governor with everything else. Some of them, what they are doing is rubbish. It's still rubbish that they are doing as they get to power. So you said this is the direction. The law they will make is a different ballgame. Just take, for example, the arresting of the Aboki selling foreign exchange in the square hotel everywhere in the town when this government came in. You are going after them. Are they the ones that make foreign currency to be naira to dollar to be high? No, they are not the one. They now ban P2P on Binance again. Is that what makes you walk around Bybit? What about the other ones that are there? They should go and ban them too. They arrested the people in this. After the people they have released the man, the US man. They come out to run away. All these things, they are problem of lack of understanding. People that get to power don't understand what is happening. They don't understand what is supposed to be the solution to the problem. So when you don't understand, the policies that are going to make are rubbish policies that are anti-people. You just got to power the one, you announce some things, and then everything is scattered. What you announce or what scatters the economy, and then you are coming and portraying how many people are going to change naira to dollar? Is it not the same politician? During campaign, what do they spend? Is it naira they spend? No. What do they spend? They spend dollars. So they spend dollars. Initially it was $5,000, later they increase it. So already they have poured in all the dollar from the economy. They started among themselves. Now they are still going back and blaming other people. So these are the things that we need to look at. That's why sometimes the class is large. Your class is very large, which I inside before me. Fine, good. So we are looking at the carbon cycle again, and this is the carbon cycle. And our focus is on the oil inside the carbon cycle, because we're talking about hydrocarbon. In this course, we're talking about petroleum archaeology. Petroleum archaeology is basically talking about petroleum products, and these are hydrocarbons. So we have the hydrogen and the carbon. And that's why we are focusing on the carbon cycle. I asked this question in the master's class, and I gave them a simple question that using the carbon cycle to explain how petroleum this and that, they could not. They could not explain because they didn't know that. I don't know how you are doing petroleum archaeology. You don't know that this carbon cycle is your main friend. Yeah, there are other things. But in the petroleum, carbon is the main thing. Just like it's called hydrocarbon. Carbon is the bedrock. Is what is hanging, is what is holding everything. So if you understand carbon, how everything comes in, not about fossilization. Fossilization, that's from this fossil, it takes millions and billions of years. All these organic carbon compound, organic carbon compound, hydrotroph and autotroph, takes millions of years in the surface of the earth. Then they now become oil, coal, natural gas. So the process of fossilization, fossil. That's why they're called fossil fuel. Still outside this. So that's why they are called fossil fuel. So petroleum is also called what? Fossil fuel, because these are from fossils. They are from fossils. So how come that you are doing petroleum but you don't know that it's from fossilization process? And most of the time, you students don't link things up. Don't link knowledge. Like we were talking about in the class the other day. Okay, yeah, for this class, talking about hyphae. And then I say, what how many times hyphae? She don't know. And you did mycology, so why did you forget it? You're supposed to take it along. If you take it along, everything you take it along. So when you encounter a challenge, then you now use all the knowledge to combat the challenge. Not like you'll be looking at just one way. Look at the way the class is before I came now. If you don't know you're supposed to arrange the class, it's the lecturer that's arranging the class. All these things are part of what education should do, but sometimes or school should do, but sometimes you yourself you don't do them, then you come back and say that school is calm. You get it? Then you still come back and then say that the school is calm. The school is not calm, it's the students that you don't want to use, or you just come and you do things the way it is. Don't look like this thing the way it is. Innovation, innovate. You can innovate. Innovate. Somebody came, donated projector here, did AC here, did this AC here. I was one that was responsible for bringing this AC and buying that one, buying the projector, doing everything. Eat here. Where is the projector? You understand? There's no innovation, there's no development. Even the students themselves, they don't care. Even postgraduate students, they want to take it up. This is your class. How much is projector? How much? Maybe 200 or less, you get a projector. So does it mean all the postgraduate students, both masters and PhD, they can't buy projector and put it here without mentioning their name? All these things we don't want to do them. Nobody cares. Everybody just wants to just leave it the way it is. Let me just get my own and get out. Then with that kind of mentality, individual will not develop, the nation will not develop, and they will not really develop it. So we should be problem solvers, especially as we graduates, we become graduates on the university. You are in this final level class?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You are the one I saw somewhere?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's talk about the carbon cycle. The various processes which constitute the circulation of carbon in nature, the various processes which constitute the circulation of carbon in nature constitute the carbon cycle. The various processes which constitute the circulation of carbon in nature constitute the carbon cycle. Constitute the carbon cycle. Constitute the carbon cycle. There are about 0.03 to 0.05 of CO2 in the atmosphere. There are about 0.03 to 0.05 of CO2 in the atmosphere. Well, those days, about 10, 20 years ago, it was 0.03. But it's increased now to 0.05. And going to 0.06, going to 0.007. We are still estimating 0.05 now. Before it was 0.03. Then why did you move to 0.005? Because of combustion. Because of combustion. Because of industrialization. Many industries, many places that, like this place now, 20 years ago when I was 20 years, this place was bush. The only place you have this thing is from block 1 to 10. That's where we used to hold our lectures. Block 2 and 3. That's probably our department, our lab is. But all this place was bush. There was no bank. There was no bank road. There was no anything here. The admin is this where you have this building. The building that there's no selling building. All these people are bush. But later on, they start clearing the place. So all the bushes that and there are trees here producing what? Oxygen. So they cut them and use them as their roots to produce what? Carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. That's just talking about this campus alone. Now look at all the buildings down and all this lane up like that. There are more and more buildings coming. So industrialization. Places where there are no buildings before, buildings are coming, industries are coming. There are some places in this country that the forests, like where we have flower garden, they cut them off. All the forests in that place, they clear them and they build other things there. Many places. Understand? So all those things are supposed to be producing oxygen. Now they are cutting them to produce carbon dioxide. Those times, like many years ago now, people don't use charcoal too much. But now they're using charcoal producing what CO2 back to the environment. People don't use firewood. Now they use more firewood. People use boiling and cooker and electric cooker. Now the cost is high, so people tend to go for the other one. Now producing more and more carbon dioxide into the environment. Not just talking about Nigeria, talking about other countries too. Many industries, many outside countries are industrialized. Everywhere. Where I travel to in India, I was just laughing. Just close to, in fact, you just stay in the school like you're looking at that place and there's a paper factory and see the film coming out of there. There's no closing 24 hours. And they raise the thing up into the sky high. But anywhere you are, you'll be seeing it. All the CO2 and carbon monoxide produced on this thing from the factory going on to that place. And it's just close to the university. But I think that one is better. It's industrialization. They are employing people. So you get it now. Know that now you don't come with your own regulation now. See people employing people and polluting the environment. You will say you should stop. And it's working 24 hours. It's not disturbing you. The only thing is polluting the environment. So what can you do? Why can't you allow them to continue to operate so that those people they are employing can feed their family? Can feed their families and the company can run. So food first before any other thing. You get it now? You don't come with your own regulation now. Now Lagos say they are banning what? All these plates that they use to plastic plates. But is the government making alternative? That is the question. Is the government making alternative and it's good, fine. But if they are not, what about those companies producing those plastic plates in Nigeria? Do they sit down with them to ask them to diversify? Instead of banning that something, why can't they sit down with the company and educate them and say, don't produce this in again? What? Go and give you 5 years to do research and start producing the other one. So if those people don't produce, those people will not buy. So indirectly, they will also be telling us to be preparing to ship to this thing. And they give them incentive. If you buy the one that is environmentally friendly, we give you incentive and it's cheaper. Everybody will buy the same project. But now you just come and just ban it straight and direct. So you now carry that with your or whatever. And as I go, if you carry something too much, press it will pay everything will fall. So all these things are the things that we need to look at. So I said the various processes which constitute the circulation of carbon in nature constitute the carbon cycle. They are about 0.03 to 0.05 CO2 in the atmosphere. The autotrophs, that is photosynthetic and chemosynthetic bacteria. The autotrophs, that is photosynthetic and chemosynthetic bacteria, remove CO2 from the atmosphere to build up organic carbon compounds in their bodies. The autotrophs, that is photosynthetic and chemosynthetic bacteria, remove CO2 from the atmosphere to build up organic carbon compounds in their bodies. That is carbohydrates. That is carbohydrates. To stop. When the autotrophs are consumed by heterotrophs, when the autotrophs are consumed by heterotrophs, the organic carbon compounds are transferred to the heterotrophs. Their organic carbon compounds are transferred to the heterotrophs. The organic carbon compounds are transferred to the heterotrophs. To stop. When the heterotrophs respire, CO2 is returned to the atmosphere. When the heterotrophs respire, CO2 is returned to the atmosphere. To stop. by the combustion of carbon-containing plant material. By the combustion of carbon-containing plant material, e.g., wood, CO2 returns to the atmosphere. By the combustion of carbon-containing plant material, e.g. wood, CO2 is returned to the atmosphere. When the autotrophs and heterotrophs die, their dead bodies will be decomposed by bacteria and fungi. Their dead bodies will be decomposed by bacteria and fungi, and CO2 will be returned. And CO2 will return. And CO2 will return. And CO2 will return. And CO2 will return. Return to where? Return to the atmosphere. First of all, coal, oil, and natural gas are called fossil fuels. Coal, oil, and natural gas are called fossil fuels. They are formed by the process of fossilization. They are formed by the process of fossilization. They are formed by the process of fossilization. From the remains of plants and animals. From the remains of plants and animals. Which have accumulated. From the remains of plants and animals which have accumulated over millions of years. Which have accumulated over millions of years. Which have accumulated over millions of years. So when the fossil fuels are burned, CO2 is returned to the atmosphere. When the fossil fuels are burned, CO2 is returned to the atmosphere. So what we've spoken about already is the carbon cycle, and we are now looking at how it links to petroleum microbiology. So I think you've seen the link now. If I ask to link it, you should be able to do that. Have it? There's a link between petroleum microbiology and carbon. When we are doing experiments on biodegradation, most of the times what we do in our experiments on biodegradation, in the experiments of biodegradation in the lab, most of the time what we do is that we prepare mineral salt medium. Mineral salt what? Medium. And the mineral salt medium lacks carbon. It lacks carbon. So we want to check the bacteria that can degrade a particular hydrocarbon. So the mineral salt medium will lack carbon. There's no how any living thing will live without carbon. You can go and check it. You can try it. Carbohydrates, it's carbon. So don't take any carbohydrate for 3 to 4 days or for 1 month. You will know that kaki is not like that. So carbon is a major building block of any living thing. So now, if you want to give it a try, you can give it a try. Don't take semo, don't take rice, don't take yam. All the food that contain carbohydrates, just take other things that do not contain carbohydrates for a few days, even for 2 days. The body is going to become weak. So carbon gives you energy. That's why we say carbon source. Carbon and energy source. So when you are doing experiments in the laboratory to check if a bacterium or fungus is going to utilize a hydrocarbon, prepare mineral salt medium in a bottle, in a sample bottle. Any kind of sample bottle depends on you. But you have to make sure the bottle is readily available. and it's cheap. So if it's expensive and it's already available, and then you want to do series of experiments, your aim or purpose is defeated. So you look for bottles that are easily available and are not expensive. Then you get a mineral salt medium. The mineral salt medium contains all the other salts that organisms need for growth. Contains water, contains everything, protein, salts, and vitamins and other things. But now it will now lack carbon. It will lack carbon. The hydrocarbon we are interested in, whether it is hexadecane, whether it is phenol, whether it is toluene, benzene, we now add it to the mineral salt medium as the only carbon source. So the organism, the bacterium or fungus will also be there. So if the organism is able to grow and multiply, that means it is utilizing the carbon source. You can also set up control, lacking the carbon source. You see that it will remain flat, there will be nothing happening there. So, you can also set up control, lacking any carbon source. So by the time you do that, if there's growth, that means the organism is utilizing the carbon source introduced in the reaction stream. So that is that about that. So tomorrow we'll look at other aspects of fossilization specifically. I'm sure that with which we are talking about, you can link it. You can link the carbon cycle with petroleum microbiology. How does it link? How does carbon cycle? Okay, I forgot how I framed the question. And we frame the question in different ways. I can just say, use the carbon cycle to explain fossilization, or how this is. That's too direct for you at this level. At the lower level, you can do that. And that's why nobody is asking you 2 plus 2 now. But the other question that they ask you, you go and buy something, you drop some amount of money, okay, this is so amount, this is, nobody's teaching you all those elementary mathematics again, but now you apply it in different ways. So, the same thing, we give you application questions that you can apply in the real world. So just have it at the back of your mind. It is the carbon cycle. Once you understand the carbon cycle, any question you are asked, fossilization, and then it comes to that, coal. So all these things, not put coal, oil, natural gas, and put something else, ask you something else. So if you understand it, as you were saying internal level student yesterday, just look at the question critically. Look at the question critically, and then just settle down with the question, and then you respond. I asked the question to the master's class of the time ago. I asked them that using the standard plate count, explain how you are going to do something. And somebody used another method to use membrane filtration. That's not standard plate count. You know what standard plate count is? Standard plate count. If you want to count the organism in the plate, how are you going to count it? You don't count, yeah. What? Somebody said something here, something similar is leading to what leading to the answer. Okay. So you colony count. Yeah, if you use membrane filter, you see count the colony, but that's not standard plate count. Because in membrane filter, you do not use 1 ml of water. When you are using membrane filtration to water, you don't use 1 ml of water. You can use more than 1 ml of water. But in the standard plate count, you get the water sample, then you do CL dilution, or if you like, don't do CL dilution, then you take how many ml of water do you take and put in the plate? What? What? 0.1 of the water sample, just put in the plate. 1 ml. It's 1 ml now. Standard, 1 ml. You see CFU per what? Why don't you say CFU per 1 ml? Why don't you say CFU per 100 ml? CFU per ml, that's the standard. So you should use a standard plate count. So any other thing you say you are using, you have to look at it. So the person wrote, the person said, I wrote everything, and this guy still failed me. Then some of the person's friends came and checked the speech, and then they said they were laughing. They were laughing because the person is like, they say, okay, you are going to Kwarapoli. Go to Kwarapoli. Describe how you're going to go to Kwarapoli through post office and Zongo. Then you now say, post office and Zongo, wow. I mean, you know, just go to pharmacy, and then you go out at UIT, then you are in the Kwarapoli. Just fun like that. See, going through post office, there are many methods. To specify, we say use this post office and Zongo. It shows you from here anywhere, get to post office. From post office, get to Zongo. From Zongo, continue journey. So you cannot from Zongo now. So how you link from Zongo to UITH and then post office? So UITH is not part of the equation. You go from post office to Zongo, from Zongo, you go straight to the power office on the other side. So if the question specify using this method, if you go to that 2G place, you get to the place also. They said they told you clearly, using this method, you use another method. So with this, we come to conclude the class of today, then tomorrow we look at other aspects of this. With our teacher assignment, there we go.